Hi everybody, it's Carolee from Glass Court. We miss everybody. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope you guys are staying connected with people through emails, through texting, through actually correspondence, getting projects done, or possibly you're even still working. Who knows? Everybody's different. Everybody's going. Hopefully everybody's staying healthy though. So, if you'd like to share some time with me, why don't we get going on a class? Just to go over a couple things. You wanna, if you don't have a yoga mat at home, you can go like on a hardwood floor, but then that can be uncomfortable. You can go just, kneeling and things, but you could overcome that with blankets. You could go on a carpet. The only thing is with carpet, I'm worried that you'll slip. So if you are on carpet, I would strongly suggest the non-slip socks. As far as a strap goes, we talked about it the other day. You can use a belt to tie, a scarf, a robe tie, anything that's long, a towel. So that would work. As far as a block goes, or any blocks, you can use a shoe box, a cake box, a shipping box. As far as blankets, just try to use something more like a quilt instead of a comforter, because you don't want it that big fluffy. You want it more of a sturdy, thinner blanket. You can also use like your couch pillows to sit on. So at one point in time, we do Virasana or Hero's Pose. So you can always take a couch pillow and sit on it to make it more comfortable. And it might be a little bit wider, but you can just kind of scrunch it in and be able to sit down on it as well. So definitely you have things around the house that you can use if you don't have the regular yoga props. So why don't we start standing? I know sometimes at home it can be difficult to kind of center and focus, because I know I've got 3 kids and 3 dogs, so it's not always quiet, and I can hear different sections of my house going, so it's hard to focus on the breath and stuff. So why don't we do an active one, and we'll do the tapping exercise that we've done in class before. So come into a good stance where our ankles are in line right underneath our knees are right underneath our hips, feet are facing straight forward. For good muscle memory, we're lengthening that torso. And on the inhale, let's raise our arms up. Oh, it just feels so good to stretch. Exhale, arms come back down. And now just go ahead and start tapping the top of your head lightly. Moving around on the top. And then come down to the sides, by the temples, above the ears. Working your way towards the back of the head. But staying on the sides right now, just that's the direction we're working in, is towards the back of the head. Now you can move to the back of the head to like the nape of the neck, where the skull and the neck, the back of the neck meet. You can start tapping on that area. I think that always feels good. It releases some of that neck tension. And then back up to the top. Let's just shake our hands out. And now from the center of the collarbones out to the sides of the shoulders. Center out. Center out. Go ahead, shake those hands out. Now tap the sternum. Want to do it a little bit, with a little bit of force, but we aren't being Tarzan. You don't have to beat your chest, but just, a little bit of pressure there. Remember, that helps boost your immune system.
Also helps with any kind of congestion that you have. And now let's move our fingers to the sides of our torso, just loosening up that fascia. And now shake your hands out. And now place both your hands in front of your pelvis. Inhale, lift them through the midline all the way up. And then circle your hands out around. Once again, inhaling up, smooth a circle around your body. Once again, up and smooth. And now roll your shoulders in both directions. Shake your hands out, shake your legs out. And let's go ahead and get on down to all fours so we can start by cat-cow. So we want our knees directly underneath our hips. Your back is flat for the time being. And our wrists are directly under our shoulders. If that causes pain, you can always move your hands up front to ease that 90-degree angle on your wrist. So whatever comfortable to you. Tops of your feet are pressed into the mat. Now inhale, drop that belly, let there be an arch in your back. Look up to the sky, widen the collarbones, fingers are spread wide, tops of feet are pressing into the mat. Exhale, round that back, scoop the belly in, and head comes towards the tops of the legs. Really push into the mat to help make a C with your back. Inhale, arch the back, let the belly drop, look up to the sky. Exhale, round that back, tip the pelvis in. Forehead comes towards the thighs. Once again, release, look up. And exhale, round the spine. Come back into all fours. Now, look to, as if you're looking behind yourself, look to the left. Look towards the left foot for a nice little side stretch on the right side. And you might feel a little pinch on that left side. Back to center. Now opposite way. Back to center. And now, I forgot to look and see what time we started. And now, once again, to the left. Look to the left behind you, really trying to stretch that torso. A nice little side torso stretch here. Pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. Come back to neutral. Now other way. Looking behind you, shifting your hips so you can see behind you. Inhale, come back to center. Now, try to keep your sit bones going straight back for as long as you can. Your knees are still hip distance apart. It's kind of a child's pose, but you're, instead of going straight down, we're trying to reach back with our back as we reach those sit bones back, feeling that nice length in our spine. So go ahead, start reaching back with those sit bones, keeping a flat back. When your sit bones feel like they have to come down to your feet, when they don't feel like they can go back any further, go ahead, release them down to the feet. The stomach comes onto the tops of the thighs. Relax the head down. Stretch the arms in front of you. Taking a few short breaths here. And then come back up. Hook the toes under. And now lift the hips up for the first down dog of the day. Go ahead, pedal the feet out, whatever feels good to you, three-legged dog, whatever, to make some movement. And then settle into your down dog for a couple deep breaths here. Pressing your hands nice and firm into the mat. Thighs get pressed back. Sit bones go up into the air. Lengthen that spine. Pushing your torso back towards those upper thighs. And then release down into plank. Rock forward into plank, I'm sorry. And then you can either release down to your knees or keep your knees up. Squeeze those elbows in as you lower all the way down. And then release the tops of the feet. Now push up into all fours. And stand tall on your knees. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, let those arms come down by the side. And then you can grab a block or a blanket. And we're going to go into hero's pose. So you might need a couple blankets. We are going to stay for a few deep breaths. So go ahead and sit on your pillow or your block. I need to come forward so the tops of my feet are on the mat. Okay, so now, standing on your knees, take your thumbs behind the folds of your knee. Drag that skin back and out as you sit down on your block, on your pillow, whatever it is you have. And then release that. Make sure your toes are going straight back. Take a moment to check with that. Now inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, twist over to your right. Releasing those arms, the left arm comes over to the right knee, palm facing out if you can. The right hand floats behind your sternum or can actually be grounded behind the sternum, whichever is available to you. Looking behind you for an added stretch. On the inhales, lengthen. On the exhale, see if you can rotate your ribs any further. Now inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, opposite way. So that right hand comes over to the left knee, palm open, and left hand comes behind the sternum. It either floats, can be grounded with a pillow, a block, or into the ground. On the inhales, you're lengthening. On the exhales, you're rotating your ribs for a nice twist. And then inhale, back up to center. Exhale, arms come down. Go ahead and move that pillow away and come into all fours for another down dog. So good alignment. Wrists come under the shoulders, knees under the hips, toes are curled under, and then push those hips up first, then lean back. Get your torso onto your thighs so you're already stretching that spine out, lengthening it out. Now lift the hips up more and see if you can just pedal the feet down or lower. Once again, your heels do not have to come to the floor. It's a goal. One day might achieve, maybe never. Just all depends. So take time, get settled in your down dog, And now lift that left foot up for three-legged dog. Go ahead, bend the knee, open that hip up. Straighten that leg back up. Look through to your hands. Now, coming forward, bring that foot between your hands. You can wiggle it, you can move it with your hand, however you get it there is fine. Now, try to square your torso over that leg. Get a good squared foundation with your ribs. The back foot is as if you're on skis, so you do have your feet about hip distance apart. The back toes are hooked under and you're on those back toes. Now inhale, lengthen those arms ahead of you, peel your chest off of your thighs and really sink down, squaring those ribs in front of you. See how low you can get. Make sure your knee doesn't go over the toe. Back leg, really try to straighten. Glutes should be really working here. Breathing normal, shooting energy through those fingers. And now release your hands back down to the mat. Sweep that leg behind you. Back up for a nice stretch. And then back into down dog. So now let's work the right side. So take the right leg up. Lift it up. And now bend the knee, open up the hips. And now work that leg towards the front, working the foot between the two hands. Feet are hip distance apart. That back foot, toes are hooked under. If that's too hard, you can always drop to your knee and then the top of the foot comes. And you'll do exactly like what we do, but just with the knee on the ground, okay? So you can either do knee on the ground or straight leg. Now, inhale and lengthen those arms. Peel the chest off of the legs. Now see if you can come down any lower in that front knee. Get that 90-degree bend. Knee is directly over that ankle. Back leg is nice and straight. Ribs are squared to the front. Now inhale, arms up overhead. Remember, you can have your knee down if you want. Either way, challenge yourself. And now hands come back down to the floor. Sweep that leg back. Lift the leg up. Set it back down. Go into down dog. Take a couple breaths here. And now rock forward into plank. Now, have your hands spread nice and wide. Middle finger is pointed towards the short end of the mat. Take your left foot and bring it up to your left hand. Now, you have your ankle directly above your knee. You've got a big long lunge going. Sink the pelvis down while you lengthen the leg. Don't let this leg flare out to the side. Bring it in. Hug it into the midline. Everything is hugging into the midline. Breathing normal. You can always drop this back leg if this is too much of an intense stretch. Always listen to your body. Breathing normal. And now let's take that left foot back. Get back into your good plank. And now let's take the right foot and bring it up to the right hand. Ankle is directly over the knee. Knees are not past the toes. And now you can drop that back knee down or keep it elongated, really reaching through that heel, and drop those hips for an added stretch, breathing normal. Take that right foot back, push into down dog. And then walk your feet up to your hands for forward fold. Shake your head yes, shake your head no. Inhale to a flat back, halfway up, hands on shins. Exhale, forward fold again. And now spike your heels into the mat and vertebrae by vertebrae roll up all the way up to the top till you're in mountain. So let's take our feet as wide as our mat, and our feet are going to angle out. We're going to do Malasana. So you want to make sure your knees are tracking over your toes. So I want my toes out like this and my knee going in. That makes very unsafe, not a stable knee, and can cause knee injuries. So we want to make sure our feet are about the same width of our mat. Toes are pointed out slightly, but more importantly that our knees are tracking over our toes, okay? So now have your hands up, goalpost arms. Go ahead and shoot that hinge at the hips. Shoot that booty back. Now go ahead, bend the knees, lower down, taking those elbows into the knees. Now lower, press the hands together, pressing out into the knees. Lower those hips down. You can rock side to side. Take whatever movement you want. Lengthening that spine. Very proud, proud pose. Breathing normal. And then hands come to mat. Lift the hips up, lengthen the legs. Go ahead, walk those feet in so the toes are pointed straight forward. Roll on up into Tadasana. So come to the top of your mat. Actually, we're going to do a balancing pose. So number one, you might need a belt, a strap, a scarf, whatever. You also might want to get back by the wall for more support if you're nervous about balancing. You could also have a chair next to you if you want help balancing. So options, most important thing is to be safe in the balancing. Okay, so if we're going to extend our leg and hold our foot with our hand. So if you think you need a strap, which is totally fine, go ahead and have that in your right hand to begin with. Have the buckle in your palm. So just so you know where it is and it's not dangling on the floor. So now have your hands on your hips. And on your inhale, bend that left knee up and draw it in towards your torso. Take your left hand and grab your big toe on the inside of your knee. Your elbow and knee should be together with your index finger and middle finger. Now, if this is difficult, you can take the strap and have the strap. Have it in your left hand. And we want to be able to extend our arm the full way. So take a close grip on that strap so you can extend your hand the full way if you're using a strap. Now on your next inhale, really lengthen the torso, widen those collarbones, and extend the foot out. Both legs are really working. Square those hips, square the ribs. I'm going a little bit too far because I'm hunching over a little bit. So I can tell I shouldn't really be reaching with my hand. Go ahead, come out of the pose, bend the knee, release the foot, release the hand. And I'm going to show you something because I want to take this moment so you guys can learn yourselves. So yes, I can grab my toe, I can have my ribs, are squared right now, and I have a nice flat back. But once I extend, I can feel that I need to hunch over just a little bit to give myself a little bit more space. So in that case, I need to back off a little bit because I'm not really doing the posture right, because I need it to open up my back. Open up my chest and make a strong back. So I would take my strap and put it on the ball of my foot, and I have it close to my foot still so I can lengthen my hand, my arm, but see how I can remain open. I'm not hunched over, grabbing for it. So on the next side, really be honest with yourself. And can you really go for the toe, or do you need the strap? It's okay. Either way, you're in the pose. So let's switch sides. And we'll do them again because that side I kind of cut short and didn't extend it fully. So we'll do both sides again. And we'll do this one just real quick so you can kind of see how you feel. And then we'll go back to the other side. So hands on hips. If you're going to use a strap, have it in your left hand. Inhale, bend that right knee and draw it towards the torso. Now, if you're using a strap, go ahead, place it underneath the ball of the foot and have it come to the inside of the knee. Once again, or you grab the big toe with your index finger and middle finger. So we're all in the same posture, whether we're using a belt or our hand. So now inhale, lengthen that leg, really lock both knees. Both legs should be straight and flexed. Now if you can, inhale, lengthen that left arm up, breathing normal. Exhale, release that arm down, bend the knee, release the foot. Bring some movement into the legs and the shoulders. So let's do that left side again. So, hands on hips. I like having my belt on the opposite side of foot that I'm going to draw up. You can have it in whichever hand if you're using a strap or a belt. So, inhale and draw that left knee, bend the left knee and draw it towards the chest. Now take your left hand, slide it to the inside, and either grab that big toe with your index and middle finger, or take that strap, wrap it around the ball of the foot. And now our right hand is still on our hip. Inhale, lengthen that left foot, left leg. Both legs are straight. Try to square the ribs. You can raise that right hand up if you would like. Breathing normal. You can let go of the belt more to really open up the chest and come up. And now bend that knee. Elbow comes to the inside. Right hand on hip. Release the foot down. Bring some movement. We're going to the other side. So hands on hips. Inhale, draw that right knee up and towards the torso. Either take your fingers and wrap them around the big toe, or wrap that strap just under the ball mound of that foot. And then on your next inhale, lengthen that leg, 2 legs straight. If you want, you can inhale that left arm up or keep it on your waist. Really lengthening, contracting both those legs. Breathing normal. Remember, you can release some of the belt if you don't feel like you're coming up far enough. And then exhale, bend that knee, release the hand down, release the foot, give some movement. And you can set that strap aside. Okay, so now come to the top of your mat into Tadasana, so a good mountain pose. Our ankles are directly under our knees, knees are directly under our hips. We're lengthening our torso. We have energy shooting through our heels. Our legs are nice and contracted. Our torso is lengthened, energy shooting through our fingers. And now go ahead and take your right foot. I'm going to turn this way because otherwise I think I'm going to be the wrong way. So take your right foot and take a big step back, like 3 or 4 feet. We're going to go into Warrior 2. So take a moment, that front knee is, we're going to be dynamically going back and forth, but the front foot, that heel, should be in line with the back arch. So take a moment, make sure that you have that good alignment. Make sure that that back foot, the whole long edge of it, you can press into. If you can't, you either need to shorten your stance or bring a block and put it under your front foot. Now just dynamically go, see how far you can go down, and just start opening up. And then when you think you found your depth, go ahead and sink down low, making sure you're pressing in to that back edge of the foot. Now inhale, arms out like eagle wings. See if you can sink down any lower. Gaze is over that front middle finger. Don't let that front knee come in. Push it out. You want to make sure it's going over the direction of your little toe. Breathing normal. Now drop that right hand. Left hand comes up for reverse warrior. You can straighten that front leg if you'd like, or keep it bent. And then come back down, arms down, sink low. Breathing normal. Now go ahead and turn that front foot so the toe comes to the long edge of the mat as well. And now, keeping a flat back, we're going to hinge. Hinge at the hips. Come forward. Arms are out like eagle wings. Keep looking out at your horizon until you can't see it anymore. Once you lose it, let the hands come down to the floor and let your head hang. Breathing normal. Now if you can, walk the heels of your hands to the heels back to be in line with the heels of your feet. Give a bend in your elbow and push the floor as you bring weight into the toes. Trying to get the crown of the head onto the floor or towards the floor. Breathing normal. And then walk your hands back in front of you so wrists are under shoulders. Turn to the left again. Keeping the hands on the mat. And now bring that right foot forward. And spike the heels down, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. Roll the shoulders. Take a moment. Don't move too fast. so you don't get lightheaded. And now we'll do the other side. So let's stand at the top of our mat. Go ahead and take that left foot and take a big step back with it. Now take a moment, make sure your feet are in good alignment so the heel of my front foot is in line with the arch of my back foot. My back foot, the whole long edge of it, is pressed into the mat. If it isn't, it means my stance is too long, so I either need to shorten it or I need to take a block and put it underneath the front of the foot to lift me up a little bit so I can put weight down on that back foot. Because we need weight in both the feet. So now once you've got your feet aligned, go ahead and dynamically move, making sure your knee does not go past your toes, making sure you keep weight in that back foot, opening up those hips. Lengthening that torso. And on your next exhale, go ahead, sink down into your lowest lunge, warrior two. Spread those arms out like eagle wings. Gaze over that front middle finger. Widen those collarbones. See if you can sink down any deeper. Breathing normal, make sure you have that weight in the back foot. Now drop that back hand, lift the top hand for reverse warrior. You can either stay low in a low lunge if that feels good. If that's uncomfortable, you can always back off and straighten your leg and come up for a reverse warrior. So it's whatever you would like to do. Arms out like eagle wings again, lower into that lunge. Now, go ahead and turn that right foot towards the long edge of the mat. Lengthen both the legs. And now, arms still out like eagle wings. We're going to hinge at the hips. Keep looking out at your horizon while you're shooting your hips behind you, keeping a flat back. Once you lose that horizon, you can release your hands down, release your head down. Go ahead and walk your hands back to meet the heels of your feet if you can. Pressing into that mat, bend the elbows, bringing the top of the head closer to the mat as you shift your weight into your toes. Almost feeling like you're going to go into a forward somersault, but you won't. Because your hands are keeping you right there, nice and strong. Breathing normal. Now walk your hands back to the underneath your shoulders. Turn that right foot forward to the short end of the mat, going back into a lunge position, and just step that back foot forward to meet, to come on up, spike the heels into Tadasana. Hands come up, meet in midline, go through to heart center. Release those down, shake out your arms, shake out your legs. Okay. So now, just try and make sure I keep up on the time. Okie doke. So, inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Stay here for a couple breaths. And then go ahead and walk your feet back and push into down dog. Staying here for 5 breaths, just a few more. And then come forward, release down into all fours and swing your legs around. Now, we're going to go into staff pose or Dandasana, where we have our legs out in front of us. I would suggest having a blanket to sit on because that does help relieve some of the low back issues. So once again, just a thinner blanket, like a quilt, not a comforter. So I am going to sit on a blanket just to help with the tilt of my pelvis as well. And here. So it might help because you guys might be able to see how like I can sit up straight, my knees fall because I have this extra space down here and I can sit up straight. Whereas if I don't have the blanket, I don't have that space and I feel like my back is rounded a little bit more. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it helps lift me up. And like right now, I'm using a lot of energy to get that straight back. Whereas if I have this blanket underneath me, it just automatically helps that straight back. And I don't have to work as hard at it. So go ahead and move the flesh from your sit bones so your pelvis can do that nice tilt forward to help aid in the straight back. And now inhale, arms up overhead, flex those feet back towards your nose. Exhale, forward fold. And we're working more towards the head, towards the toes, than the head towards the knees. Just breathing normal, enjoying that nice stretch along the whole back side. And then inhale, zip that belly up, arms up overhead, release the arms down. Bend the knees and draw the soles of the feet together so we're in Baddha Konasana. Bring the heels as close as you can towards the torso and we're releasing those knees down. You can get off of your blanket now if you would like, or you can remain on it. It's just easier to remain on it, so I'm just staying on it. And now the direction our knees are moving are down and behind us. So we're almost trying to take that hip bone and squeeze it back into the glute. Really working. Our hands are underneath our feet if you can, lifting up, helping widen those collarbones, lengthen that torso. Breathing normal. And then go ahead and extend those legs out in front of you. Give them a little tap. Once again, you can stay on your blanket. It's fine. We're going to draw that right leg in, the right foot in towards that left upper thigh. You can have the left leg out at an angle, or you can have it straight in line, whichever feels better for you. We do want that knee grounding, the bent knee grounding. So if that is hard to do with the blanket, then maybe move the blanket or move a little bit forward. I just scooted a little forward and I'm able to ground a lot better. Your long leg, the toes are flexed back towards your nose. Now inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, rotate those ribs so you're squared over that left foot and forward fold. Once again, the head coming towards the toes more than the head coming to the knee. Breathing normal. Taking a moment to see if you can make any more space. Now engage the belly, really push through both those legs. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release the arms down. Bring that foot back in. So we're in Baddha Konasana again. Once again, pressing our knees down and back. Breathing nice and deep. And now let's extend that right leg out. You can have it off to the side or directly in front of you. The sole of your left foot comes to the inside of that extended leg. You want the bent knee grounded, so you may need to move up a little bit on the blanket. Really press that knee, just like we were in Baddha Konasana just right before. That's why we do it, so you know what that action is. It's down and back, okay? The long leg, the toes are flexed back towards your torso. Inhale, arms up, really lengthen that torso, engage the belly, and forward fold over that leg. Once again, our goal is more to get the head to the toe than the head to the knee. Breathing normal, trying to make space. So in your inhales, you're lengthening, and on your exhales, you're seeing if you can come down any further. When you contract your legs, that helps you actually lengthen. Sometimes you can stretch through a contraction. Inhale, really ground through those legs, zip the belly up, arms up overhead. Exhale, arms down. Once again, draw that leg in so the two soles of the feet meet. Bring them close to your torso. Once again, knees come down and back. So you've got active legs. You can even feel it in your glute. You should be able to feel it in your glute, like where your hip is on the side. Breathing normal. And then go ahead and extend both legs in front of you. Give them a little bit of movement. And now let's take our left leg and bend it over our right thigh. So it's up as high as you can, so the knee is as close to the body as possible, the bent knee. Our right leg is extended, the toes are pointed back towards our torso. We're pulling that bent knee in, lengthening, really getting a flat back, widening those collarbones. Release the shoulders down. Having a nice deep breath. You can look up to the sky for an added stretch. You can release that left hand behind you and hug the knee now. Hugging it as close as possible. And now rotate the ribs towards the left. Inhale, come back to center, extend the leg, give a little bit of movement, other side. So bend that right leg over the left. We're grasping the bent knee. Once again, for right now, just pull it in, feeling that nice stretch along the hip, lengthening the torso, widening those collarbones, really feeling a nice stretch. Lengthen that leg, the straight leg toes come back towards the torso. Now you can release the right hand behind you and really hug that leg in as you try to turn the ribs. You can look directly behind you if you'd like for an added stretch. Hugging those ribs in. Don't forget about the long leg is still active. Breathing normal. And then inhale, return back, extend that leg, give some movement to the torso and to the legs. And now let's take our legs wide. Go ahead, and so you're straddling. You can either stay on the blanket once again, which I am going to because it will help with creating that space, so my back will be easier to be flat than if I'm sitting on the ground. I tend to go like a rounded back like that. Whereas if I'm sitting on the edge of my blanket, it automatically helps that pelvis tilt. It helps to lengthen my back and have it nice and straight. So take your legs wide. Toes are flexed back towards the torso. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold through the center. You can have some rounding in the back here. Feeling the hamstrings, the inner groins releasing. Press through those legs. Inhale, extend the arms overhead. Inhale, come up. Exhale, rotate to your right. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, go forward, bend over the right leg. And keep the left leg heavy. You can have a curve in the spine and bring the head towards the knee. Inhale, arms up overhead, rotate those ribs to center, rotate them over to the left side, exhale, forward fold, keeping that right leg heavy, and toes turned up to the sky. Both hips, make sure both hips are on the mat. You're not lifting that leg up, you're grounding both of those legs as you're rotating over. Breathing normal. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, rotate to the center. Bring your hands to the outsides of your thighs and go ahead and work your legs back together and give them a little bit of movement. Okay, so now let's move the blanket out from underneath us. And get in a Dandasana pose or staff pose. So our legs are nice and contracted straight out in front of us. We've got that straight spine. I know this might be a little bit hard without the blanket, but we're only here for a second. Bring your hands back behind your hips. Now, bend your knees and place the soles of the feet on the mat. We're going to do a reverse plank. Inhale, lift up. So now you can do a reverse tabletop. So you're lifting those hips. Or if you want, you can do a reverse plank where I struggle with reverse plank, I'll be honest. But your legs are long. It is a little bit more challenging. Toes are pointed away from the body. Breathing normal. And no matter where you're at, go ahead, release those hips so you slide them. You're still supporting your body weight, but the hips are between the hands. Now go ahead and release it down. Just a little bit added arm work there, because we don't do a whole lot of arms a lot of times. So now scoot to the middle of your mat. Arms come to the outsides of thighs, legs are bent, soles of the feet are on the mat. Gently roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. And get in bridge pose. So bring your feet close to your torso. So hopefully the tips of your fingers can graze the heels. Now feet are a little bit wider than hips, so they're about shoulder. Your toes are pointed straight forward or a little itty bitty bit out. You don't want them pointing in because we don't want our knees to collapse in. Now go ahead and lift those, push through the heels, lift those hips up and gently interlace the hands underneath your torso. Try to get your palms zipped up to the wrist. Now rock side to side, tucking your shoulders underneath your torso. Reaching your hands long towards your feet, tucking the chin slightly to the chest. Now push through those heels again and really lift those hips up. Stretch the arms towards the feet. If you can, tuck that pelvis under a little. You'll feel the glutes engage more and the front of your legs, the hip flexors engage more. Breathing normal. Keep pushing through those feet. And then exhale, release the hands, release the hips. Release the shoulders from underneath the body. Extend the legs long. Inhale, arms up overhead. Long, big stretch. Exhale, arms come back down by the side. So bend the knees, soles of the feet come to the mat again. And now just go ahead and windshield wiper the knees. You can have the arms out. You can have the arms however you'd like. Goalposts, whatever feels good to you. Try to keep both shoulder blades on the mat while you windshield wiper the legs. You can let your pelvis go wherever, but you want both shoulder blades on the mat. And then knees come back up to center. Extend the legs long. And bend the left knee up and interlace the fingers around the knee. And draw it out to the side of your rib cage so you're not pulling it directly on your torso, as if you could slide a credit card between your thigh and your ribs, and then pull it straight down as if you're trying to tuck that knee into the into the armpit. Lengthen the long leg. If the calf isn't touching, go ahead, flex that foot and then release it. Both shoulder blades on the floor. Breathing normal. Should feel a slight pinch in the top of that leg and the hip. And release that leg down, other side. So bend the right knee, pull it out to the side and back in. So you could almost swipe a credit card between the leg and the ribs. If the left calf isn't touching the ground, go ahead, flex that foot and release it. Really pull that right knee down to the earth. Both shoulder blades are on the ground. Breathing normal, chin is slightly tucked. And release, lengthen that leg long. Now on your next inhale, draw both the knees in towards the chest. Interlace your hand, take your hands so they're to the elbows. If you can't reach your elbows, to the forearms. If not forearms, wrists, hands, or on top of knees. Whatever is available to you. You're trying to be the smallest little package, fit in the smallest box you can. Head remains on the floor. as well as both shoulder blades. And now you're lengthening and you're trying to get that tailbone, the sacrum on the floor, lumbar on the floor. Release the shoulders, relax the neck, pull those knees in while you're keeping the tailbone, lumbar, and upper back on the ground. You're trying to create as much space in the front of the spine as you are in the back. Feet are relaxed. And release the arms, release the legs, let them go long. Give a little bit of movement to them. And then inhale, arms up overhead. Long, nice deep breath, nice stretch. Exhale, arms by your side. Go ahead and get set up for Savasana. So you can do it a lot of different ways at home. I don't know if you'll be able to just relax and quiet your mind, hopefully. You can do legs up the wall. You can do your blankets or pillows underneath your knees. If you do a blanket or a pillow underneath your head, just make sure it's not under your shoulders so you keep that good spinal alignment that you just worked for. Take a moment to get comfy, maybe get a jacket on or whatever. And then once again, I'm going to leave you in Savasana so you hopefully you can stay there a little bit longer. I normally only give you guys in between 5 and 8 minutes, depending on how much time we have left at the end of class. But really, you should be staying in Savasana, trying to, for 15 minutes. So maybe that's something you could work on while we're, at home instead of in the studio, so you're not rushed and feeling like you have to get to that next errand. Everything can wait. So once you get comfortable, go ahead, lay down, close your eyes. Chin is slightly tucked to the chest just to ground that mind and quiet the mind. Start to relax your mind. Relax the face. Release the tongue from the roof of the mouth and relax the jaw. Relax the throat. Relax the collarbones and the chest. Relax the arms and hands. Relax the torso. Relax the pelvis. Relax the upper thighs, the knees. Relax the calves and the feet. Imagine that you're the ocean and you're the waves. And your muscles just keep spreading and taking up more space on the floor as they relax into the floor and settle down. I hope you enjoyed our time together. I definitely miss you guys. I can't wait to see you all. I hope you're all doing well. Relax, relax. Namaste.